How many times in your life did you think to yourself, just when everything was starting to go well, this thing just happened? Why does that happen? I'm sure you ask this question to yourself. These are the balances and imbalances of our lives that come in and make us live between waves. Why does that happen? Years ago, I was in Turkey, in Ayvalık, swimming. Summer. I was feeling the sun on my face. My hair was making me feel like a lion in the sea, and everything was nice. The smells of the trees and everything. I was feeling like the animal I'm supposed to be. I was in my nature. And suddenly I thought, yes, this is how I'm supposed to feel. So I was swimming and I thought, yeah, my one job in this life is to fulfill my nature. Silence just happened in that moment. I thought, yeah, I'm understanding things suddenly. It felt deep, it felt right, fulfilling my nature. I kept repeating this to myself. I was tattooing it to my mind. I was like, okay, never to forget. One job, fulfilling my nature. So I got out of the sea, I started walking home. I felt like I understood something. And then suddenly, slowly, another question came. Yeah, cool. Cool. What is my nature? Okay. So I had this magical sentence, and I knew that was a new page opening for myself. But what exactly? So I did like some other people of my generation would, I guess. I Googled it. What is my nature? I found lots of results, articles, books, and after a few weeks of research, I found an answer that was satisfying to me. Ayurveda was the answer. Ayurveda is Sanskrit and it means the science of life. So it's all about 5,000 years of people observing life and its balances and how things interact with each other and trying to figure out what we're made of. What's the formula? What's the recipe of a human? And what causes balances and imbalances in our natural constitution? So they figured out this thing called the doshas. And the doshas are basically forces that can go out of balance in our systems. So when we're born with a specific dosage of each of these three forces, vata, pitta, and kapha. When I started understanding what these are and what percentage I was born with in each, oh my God, everything started to make sense to me. Suddenly I could see all the best and worst times of my life and understand why that thing was so hard for me, why that was so easy. And I started to think, if only I knew this, I would have made different kinds of choices about my jobs, about my friendships, and all of that. So here goes why. I'll explain to you one by one each force, and you can think to yourself which percentage you think that you were naturally born with in that area. So someone who would be ideally excellently balanced would have 33% of each, but that's quite rare, and you don't have to try to be that anyway, because the great thing is that the doshas where you have excess or lack of will also define your natural superpowers, your natural talents. Because you have a lot of something, you will also have lots of high skills potentially in that domain if you nurture it, if you develop that, focus on that. And the good thing is, through your lifestyle, even if you weren't born totally balanced, you can learn to have a lifestyle that balances your doshas. So imagine a person, and let's think that vata is the head, pitta is the stomach, and kapha are the feet. That's just for an easy memorizing tool. So vata is air and space. air in space moves. So that's the force of movement. And so if you have lots of vata, this means that you're going to be curious because you're going to move. You're going to want to go there and see this. And because you saw lots of things, you're going to start analyzing, making connections and comparing things. And because you see things and analyze and understand stuff, you're going to want to tell people about it. And so you're going to probably be good in communications. Because you like that diversity, you're gonna have to be an open-minded person, because if you're not, you can't go and enjoy the abundance of life. And so that's gonna mean that you're gonna be someone who has lots of empathy, and you're gonna be someone who, because you can connect the dots and see things, you're gonna have creative skills also. You're gonna have the ability to develop visions and to develop new ideas and all of that. So exciting, right? But if you have too much of this, you're also going to have the problems that come with that excess, because too much wind becomes a storm. So if you see too many things, you may end up getting tired, disfocused, and lose focus and doubt yourself, be unable to make a choice, and start feeling anxious about stuff, feel lost, and you can develop panic attacks, fear, all these kinds of things. So you can see how in our society that could relate with lots of artists who have mental disorders, mental health problems. Well, maybe lots of these people, if they knew about their doshas, through their education, they could have developed habits and lifestyles that would come and help them balance all of these, and not let them go that far in their vata. So that's also why it's important to understand our balances. But let's continue with the other forces. So now you see what the vata is. Pitta is water and fire. It's like the liquid acid in your stomach. It helps digest. So vata went around the world and found lots of interesting stuff, but pitta is the one that's going to say, I need this specific thing in the stuff that you brought to me. I don't want all of these things. I'm going to sort things out, keep the things I need or can use and enjoy, and let go of the other stuff. So pitta is the force of leadership, decision-making, progress, transformation, giving a direction, motivation. If you're high in pitta, you're gonna have passion, you're gonna drive people, you're gonna want to keep moving forward, doing stuff, getting things done. And probably you can have a high libido also. That goes with the passion and all the fire. But if the pitta starts to go too high, you're also going to have problems, because you're going to get easily frustrated. You're going to want to keep moving all the time. Maybe you're going to push your body to its extremes. Maybe you're going to push others too hard and turn into a bulldozer, into a tyrannic person. And usually when there are conflicts, the Vata people are going to be like, oh, what did I do? And feel guilty about this stuff. Pitta people are going to be like, oh gosh, what did they do again? Like frustrated, sure that it's others who did it. Pitta people really rarely feel guilty. Let's not say Pitta people, because these are like behavioral traits that we can learn to change and balance. But when you were born with a natural temperament that's fed by Pitta, one thing to learn is to slow down and listen to people, listen to yourself, learn more respect, understanding, and living together. Because when Pitta goes crazy, it breaks walls, it hits walls, and it's destruction. So now that we have this amazing Pitta energy, we can go down to the Kapha energy. Kapha is the one that will take the chosen one, the seed, the one thing that Pitta said we're going to keep. And it's going to take care of it like a parent. It's going to take care of it through the long term. It's going to root it. And it's generally Kapha, people who have lots of Kapha are going to be more patient, more calm, present. They will know how to transform matter, how to create with their hands. They can have crafty skills, be a maker, be good at repairing things, or be good at caring for others, like doctors or nurses. But the thing is, if you have too much kapha, it's the opposite of vata. You may lose to movement. And so you may start being too much rooted. So you may lose motivation. You may find yourself in situations where you don't want to be, but don't know how to get yourself out of it. It can be a relationship. It can be a job. Maybe you need to learn to say no. Maybe you need to develop your creativity and ideas to know what you think about something and not let all the time others decide for you. So these are the types of imbalances you can have when you have too much kapha. And so when you have too much kapha, you can look to hang out with people who are more dynamic than you are. You may also, for each of these doshas, you can learn to eat in a way that's going to help you get the energies that you needed, get the elements that you needed. You can develop activities that help you with this. You can listen to music that gets you moving if you were too much kapha. And we will also have the physical traits that go with these forces, but sometimes that's not that useful, I think, because understanding that you have a certain body type, that you're big or small, that's not going to help you, but your health can be helped by that. That's why there is so much nutrition facts going around these things. You can Google it down and see which is your type and what you can eat, and try, test and learn. The great thing about Ayurveda is that it's not a religion. You don't have to believe it. You can take the information that seems useful to you, use it, and let go of the rest. That's what I did. So I think that's really important to understand how we were born with a specific recipe of me or a specific recipe of you, and how the activities, the lifestyle, the relationships, the jobs, the projects you choose for you can be things that are good for you or that push you even further in imbalance. So, for instance, in my first jobs, because I had many jobs, in my first job, I was expected to be someone who delivers, someone who just does what is being asked of her. But I'm a Vata Pitta person. That I have too much Vata and Pitta and not enough Kapha naturally. All my life has been about learning how to develop anchoring, how to develop Kapha, to slow down, to focus on one thing, and all of these things. That's why actually I used to have panic attacks. I had flight phobia. I'll talk about all of these in details in other videos. But in that first job, people expected of me to be a Kapha person. But I have Vata and Pitta, and it's a shame not to use the natural forces that you already have. So when you're going to pick a project or job, don't try to be what you're not. We can learn to balance ourselves, not to weigh on others, not to depend on others. So we have that power of self-balancing, but your playground is going to be the natural you. So if you have, like me, too much Vata or Pitta, you're a creative type. You want to imagine stuff. You want to go find things. You want to get excited. If you're a Kapha person, don't put yourself in a job where you're expected to invent stories and write essays and stuff like that. You're going to suffer. We all need in our societies all of these forces and all of the typologies of people, because that's what makes us be complementary. But still, it's up to us to see when we start hurting ourselves or others because we didn't open our eyes to see what pushes us out of balance and what helps us be in balance. So we have the power to learn that. We have the power to help our kids also get to know their true natures and what type of life they need. Because if you have a Pitta kid, don't give them boxing classes. They already have too much fire and adrenaline, all of these things. Give them dancing lessons, give them... The point is, even the activities we choose to balance ourselves need to correspond to our needs and loves. For instance, something I do that calms me down, that calms my vata, is cutting visuals to do collage afterwards. I'm not a big artist, but it's fun to do, and it just makes me focus on something that's detailed. It makes me have to be slow, but also the visuals are my kind of visuals. They have lots of colors and energy, and so I like doing it, but also it calms me. So it has things that correspond to my true nature while giving me some of that kapha, some of that slowing down that I need. So we can open our eyes and look around us at the content that we watch, at the conversations that we have, at the way we decorated our rooms and all of this. And you can see that in everything around you in the world, there are the kapha, the pitta, the vata, there are the balances and imbalances. And when we understand this, we can find solutions to the multi-crises that we say that we're going through right now in 2020 in our world, because we can see that some leaders are pitta kids who were never taught to listen to other people, and that's how life brought them to that place. And we can see that some people don't know how to do other stuff, and some people do too much of this and that. We're not here to judge or to point fingers, but now we can understand. And something that's important, I think, is to understand that transformation requires time. We can suddenly understand things, like that moment in the sea where I had that aha moment with the sentence, but then we need to give the seeds time to grow and to be nurtured. So if you decide to start working on fulfilling your nature, you're going to start seeing immediate effects of this, of course, but give yourself a few years. What is a few years in a lifetime? A few years to digest the information, to try things, to see, to observe yourself, what's good for you, what's not good for you. And during that period of time, you will need to protect yourself. Because if you hang out with people who have imbalances, or worse, the same types of imbalances as you, you're going to push each other really, really too far. For instance, when I was still working on my imbalances, when I was working on my vata, or even worse, when I didn't even know about it, I had lots of friends who were like me, like lots of ideas and this and that, and we would lose focus and our brains would start going too fast. And when a brain starts going too fast, it will eat up all the happiness hormones. And the next day you're going to feel sad. You don't even know why. And it's all really connected. The hormones, the body, the thought, the rhythm of life, the doshas, all of these things are the organic truth that we're living. So we need time. We need to be present to ourselves. We need to take care of the influences that we let into our world. And then from there on, we can first balance ourselves and then start looking for synergy. Start looking for what kind of people is it really nice for me to be friends with? Who are we complementary with? Who are we compatible with? And all of these information. So if you want to do an evaluation of your personal natural identity, you can contact me, or then I'll see you, I hope, in the next videos.